joining us here today, and obviously thank you everyone at DLT Lounge for having SpaceChain. We're really happy to be here and show you exactly what we're doing to combine some of the synergies of blockchain and space technologies. There we go. All right, so I'll just, a bit of text there now, just lay out exactly what SpaceChain's mission statement is. So SpaceChain is building the world's first open source blockchain-based satellite infrastructure to enable a decentralized environment for space in order to facilitate easier access to the market for space companies as well as blockchain enthusiasts. So already SpaceChain has established the first satellite platform to provide secure custody, transact digital assets, deploy smart contracts, and facilitate a decentralized finance infrastructure on our space nodes that are currently in space. So basically SpaceChain aims to bring advanced security and global access, integrating software-defined payloads to progress blockchain applications in orbit. All right, so just a little bit of history. So I'll run through that and we'll get going on exactly the tech. So SpaceChain was founded in Singapore in 2017 by Xi Zheng here on the left. He's a serial entrepreneur and recently actually listed as one of Forbes 30 under 30 in Asia. And Jeff Garzik, he's one of the original Bitcoin core developers. So they founded the company in 2017 in Singapore. In the middle here you see Cliff Beek. We recently announced our new CEO, Cliff, who is going to be leading our expansion to the US, which is an essential part of any space company's growth. So he's very experienced with over 25 years of experience leading top space companies. And of course you have us in the UK. So Nick, who isn't here today, and maybe some of you already know him. He is our Chief Commercial Officer and UK Director. He's currently expanding our reach to the MENA region after we recently announced our participation in Hub 71 in Abu Dhabi. There's Zahong, who is my clickmate here, and he is our technology manager, mainly looking after a lot of our research and development activities. And of course, there's myself. I'm originally an engineer, but kind of interested in space business, so that's what brought me here. So there you go, that's us. That's where we now are. I was updating this the other day, which is great. We've been really expanding quite rapidly. Originally in Singapore, and obviously then next was the UK in 2018, and then closely followed by MENA just last year in Abu Dhabi, and of course moving our actual headquarters now to the USA, obviously with Cliff. So that's great. So yeah, the big question. I mean, Grant and Copernic answered a lot of these questions. But why does blockchain need space? So just kind of try and keep it simple. But basically, to really capitalize on the ethos of blockchain technology, which is decentralization, when we start putting things in space, we can actually, really take decentralization and take it quite literally. So that's something that we're working on. Also, the secure uplink and downlink provided by space communications infrastructures is very secure, which enables obviously private networks, more secure transaction methods, and of course, universal coverage for blockchain industry. So each blockchain having their presence in space, we kind of see that as the future. And obviously vice versa, why does space need blockchain? So obviously, once again, Grant touched on the need for tokenization. So currently there's streams of data coming through space data every day that can utilize tokenization. Obviously, as we look forward into the future, and obviously talking about the moon, but even talking about mining resources on asteroids far, far away. These could be anything from diamonds to gold, who knows. But tokenization might play a real interesting part in that, and obviously become, I think, an essential part of that. Of course, smart contracts lead to new operation and monetization models within the space industry, which allows for collaboration amongst different space companies, which we think traditional space sector really doesn't allow for, in orbit collaboration, which we're hoping to enable. So yeah, to date we've been kind of busy. Here are 6 launches of various blockchain nodes. So within our first 2 years of operation, we launched 2 blockchain nodes. So obviously that was in 2018. And this is quite fast-paced for any space startup. Normally it takes quite a while to start getting things in space, but we hit the ground running. And then obviously what probably gave us kind of brought us more into public spotlight was our launch of a Bitcoin node to the International Space Station in 2019, and this was sponsored by the European Space Agency. We've obviously had a little bit of a break after COVID, but then we decided to launch an Ethereum node to the ISS, the International Space Station, and that was closely followed by our second generation space node aboard an orbital satellite. Most recently, we had a launch of this year actually, so that was the launch of a Velas blockchain node. They're a Switzerland-based blockchain provider, and this was in our collaboration with Spire Global, one of the leading satellite companies in the world. And basically we deployed the blockchain node on one of their satellites. So here you go. If you're wondering what it kind of looks like to go to the International Space Station as a satellite or be deployed on board, on the left you can see we launched on board a SpaceX launch vehicle from Cape Canaveral in Florida. So nice little story there, and typical of a space company, so we're really up there. And then of course on the right you have actually Jessica Meir on board the International Space Station deploying deploying the Bitcoin node actually. So yeah, that stuff is actually floating around, so you can imagine it might have been a little bit more difficult than typical. So yeah, to date we have integrated 5 blockchain Web3 programs, obviously of course Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cudos and IPFS, as well as most recently the BLS blockchain. And we're in talks with more blockchains as well. So why do people, or why does anyone want to be involved in this industry, and what is our most attractive service? So this is actually our multi-signature transaction service. So typically when doing a blockchain transaction, your wallet, so the sender's wallet will sign a transaction with their, or initiate the transaction, sign with their private key, and then the sender or the recipient will also sign with their private key, and the transaction is eventually completed. What we've done is, what we've noticed was firstly that there's a lot of points of vulnerability for typical blockchain transactions. So what we decided to do was stick a wallet up in space. So we took what the typical multi-signature transaction is and placed one of those keys in outer space. So in this situation, let's say you're sending your digital assets, and then basically it goes through obviously encryption of blockchain up through the very secure ground station and uplink infrastructure of the space network, and then the satellite signs the transaction and comes back down to ground, and eventually the transaction is complete. Obviously with the recipient signing as well. So just touching on exactly what we're doing with VELAS. So they are one of the first to kind of see the potentials of use cases in outer space. So obviously that multi-signature transaction service is one of the most attractive services that we provide. But we're building on that by offering minting, NFT minting, storage, and also other DeFi operations based in the space environment. So yeah, just touched on that. With the development of the blockchain industry, applications based on smart contracts continue to emerge, and SpaceNode can serve these projects, or serve these new innovative application projects. So we, I mean, every day, every week, we have new people reaching out to us with different ideas, and there's a lot of coming at once, and it's really interesting. So we keep on top of that, keep a list of all what is potential, and yeah, we're working on that. So next. So yeah, that brings us to the centralized satellite infrastructure. So this is kind of what we're hoping to develop as we move along. Currently we have 6 blockchain nodes in space. But also, where can we draw the line between the traditional space industry and the blockchain industry and start to merge things together? So we believe that, obviously, firstly, every space company dreams of building its own constellation, but we think it's actually not the most efficient approach. So we believe that we can create a decentralized satellite infrastructure. So once again, capitalizing on the ethos of blockchain tech, and build a satellite network of interoperating low Earth orbit satellites. And if a tongue twister there, just let's pull it out. Yeah, basically these interoperating low Earth orbit satellites, all performing different actions, but being able to transact with one another and build services from that. So here, something it might look like. So as you can see, between what we believe in is constellation as a service. So turning what used to be a single use case of a satellite. Some satellites are sent up for one reason only, but allowing them to communicate with one another via blockchain registry. So, capitalizing on smart contract monetization models as well as other things. So what we hope to achieve then is enable an environment for decentralized satellite applications. So, as I said, speaking with many different customers and potential people with different ideas. These are all new ideas that keep coming at us. So, trying to develop new ways of allowing these satellites to communicate via intra-constellation transactions. Is what we're trying to do. So here's a little clip. I'll try, hopefully I don't get no back feed or whatever. So there you go. There's our interoperating low Earth orbit satellites. So this is something that we hope not only to deploy our own satellites, but also enabling the current satellites that are up there with blockchain technology. There's a little bit look at decentralized satellite applications with its potential, and obviously a lot of the streams of data coming in, that be it Earth observation, navigation, communications, all different types, and how that can all combine together to deliver more enhanced products to the end user. So these are just some of the things: secure custody, blockchain, of course, as we're at the blockchain space event, and there's all the applications popping out. So we'll just let it finish off. And obviously, open source is very important. So as I said, keeping that discussion open, and connecting all of the current assets that are in space. I'm missing the music now. I kind of liked it. So there you go, next there. So yeah, we're kind of seen now as the leading integrator of blockchain and space technologies. We've been working with ESA, as well as a lot of the other space agencies that we have a presence, well, countries that we have a presence in. As we're seeing now, which is fantastic to be in the UK, a really growing, a rapidly growing UK space environment. There's going to be launches coming, I think it's at the end of this year, with Virgin Orbit, and then obviously more vertical launches coming next year, which will be great to watch, and hopefully we can all get out and see some rockets flying up into the sky. And then here's just some of our previous grants. Obviously originally the ESA sponsored Bitcoin node to the ISS, and then of course a recent ESA e-commerce project, so we're working on them for delivering an e-commerce platform of store for Earth observation with blockchain-enabled credit management and payment services. And then obviously most recently, our most recent, obviously they're all in 2020, but we are funded by Innovate UK and as well as Enterprise Singapore for the Eureka program in support of our decentralized satellite infrastructure. So that's all for me. I hope I gave you kind of a rundown. I didn't want to go too much into a sales pitch. I just wanted to show you exactly what we're doing, what we have done, and what we hope to do in the future. So I'll be here. If you want to have questions now, please fire away. If you want to just wait for after, I don't mind.